You brush your teeth every day, maybe twice. You use toothpaste, a toothbrush, mouthwash. Some people even floss. And despite all that, tooth decay is still one of the most common diseases on Earth. Every year, billions of people develop cavities. Millions lose teeth. Entire industries exist just to repair the damage. Now imagine someone living 20,000 years ago. No toothbrush, no toothpaste, no mouthwash. No fluoride, no braces, no dentist. How many teeth do you think they kept? Most people have the same answer. Probably not many. After all, how could anyone keep healthy teeth without brushing them? But that's not what archaeologists found. For more than a century, archaeologists have uncovered thousands of ancient human skeletons. Some belong to farmers, some to hunters. Some are only hundreds of years old. Others live long before the first pyramid was ever built. Every skull tells a story: how old someone was, what they ate, sometimes even how they died. But among all those discoveries, one detail kept surprising researchers: the teeth. Again and again, ancient hunter-gatherers appear to have remarkably few cavities. Not perfect teeth, not movie star smiles, but far fewer holes than many people today. That shouldn't make sense. Modern humans have electric toothbrushes, professional dentists, fluoride, braces, regular checkups. Ancient humans had none of it. So, what were we missing? At first, the answer seemed obvious. Maybe ancient humans cleaned their teeth in ways we've forgotten. And to some extent, they did. Long before toothbrushes, people experimented. They chewed on sticks until the ends became soft like tiny brushes. Some rubbed ash onto their teeth. Others used crushed charcoal, tree bark, herbs, plant fibers. Different civilizations invented different methods, so perhaps they had simply discovered a better toothbrush. It sounds reasonable. Except there's a problem. Researchers don't think brushing was the main reason their teeth stayed healthier. Not even close. So if it wasn't the toothbrush, what protected them? The answer wasn't hiding inside their mouths. It was sitting on their dinner plates. For nearly all of human history, people didn't eat breakfast cereal, chocolate, cookies, soft drinks, candy, or even white bread. Most of their food came directly from nature: wild animals, roots, nuts, seeds, seasonal fruits. Nothing was processed, nothing was refined, and almost nothing contained the enormous amounts of sugar we eat today. Which matters because cavities aren't created by your teeth. They're created by bacteria, tiny organisms living inside every human mouth. They're there right now, living on your teeth. Most of the time, they're harmless, until you feed them. Every time you eat sugar, those bacteria throw a feast. They consume it, multiply, then release acids as waste. Those acids slowly dissolve the hard outer layer of your teeth. Not all at once. Tiny attack after tiny attack, day after day. Eventually, a cavity appears. But here's the strange part. Ancient humans had those same bacteria. The bacteria weren't new. The sugar wasn't new either. Wild fruit has always existed. Honey has existed for millions of years. So why weren't ancient mouths filled with cavities? Because something else changed. Something much bigger than brushing. And it changed the course of human history forever. Around 12,000 years ago, humanity made one of the biggest decisions it would ever make. We stopped following food and started growing it. Agriculture was born. Villages appeared, then towns, then cities. For the first time, people could stay in one place. It changed almost everything: civilization, governments, writing, trade, population, history itself. But hidden inside that revolution was a tiny problem almost nobody noticed. For the first time in history, humans began eating large amounts of grain every single day: wheat, rice, barley, corn, foods rich in starch, foods that easily cling to teeth, foods that bacteria absolutely love. Civilization gave us cities, but it also gave the bacteria inside our mouths their greatest opportunity. If that sounds unbelievable, you're not alone. For years, scientists thought ancient teeth were simply healthier because people ate less sugar. Then they looked closer, and realized that wasn't the whole story either, because the next discovery was even stranger. Ancient humans often had healthier teeth, yet those same teeth looked completely destroyed. How could both be true? The answer was where, not the K. Where? Ancient humans chewed foods modern mouths almost never experience: tough meat, fibrous plants, hard seeds, roots. And after agriculture, something even stranger happened. People began grinding grain between large stones. It worked, but every handful of flour carried something invisible: tiny particles of stone, tiny grains of sand. Meal after meal, year after year, those tiny particles slowly sanded their teeth down. Imagine chewing fine sand every single day for decades. That's exactly what many ancient people unknowingly did. Their teeth weren't rotting, they were slowly being polished away, which explains one mystery, but creates another. If their teeth were wearing down so quickly, why weren't they constantly losing them? Because unlike cavities, wear doesn't immediately destroy a tooth. Cavities hollow a tooth from the inside. Wear slowly removes it from the outside. They're completely different problems. And for thousands of years, humans traded one problem for another. Then, something changed again. Sugar became cheap. Not honey, refined sugar. At first, only the wealthy could afford it. Then production exploded. Sugar spread across the world. Soon it was everywhere. Tea, coffee, desserts, soft drinks, breakfast cereals, candy. For the bacteria living inside your mouth, it was the greatest feast in human history. The bacteria didn't evolve. We changed their environment. For the first time, food wasn't just eaten during meals. It was available all day. Snacks, sodas, energy drinks. Every sip, every bite gave a bacteria another opportunity, and slowly, cavities became one of humanity's most common diseases. By now, it sounds like ancient humans had the better deal: healthier teeth, fewer cavities, less tooth decay. But that isn't the whole story either, because when archaeologists studied ancient skulls, they noticed another difference: their jaws. They were larger, much larger, large enough to fit every tooth comfortably, including wisdom teeth. Which raises another question. If ancient humans had room for wisdom teeth, why don't we? The answer may have started long before the dentist. Think about the hardest thing you've eaten today: bread, chicken, rice. Now compare that to chewing dried meat, raw roots, hard nuts, tough plants. For ancient children, every meal was exercise. Hour after hour, year after year, their jaws were constantly working. Bone responds to stress, just like muscles. The more it is used, the more it develops. As human diets became softer, our jaws no longer faced the same demands. Generation after generation, they gradually became smaller, but our number of teeth hardly changed at all. The result is millions of people today don't have enough room for the final set, not because wisdom teeth suddenly became useless, but because our mouths quietly changed around them. Then came modern dentistry: toothbrushes, fluoride, braces, fillings, root canals, dental implants. Technology accomplished something incredible. Today, millions of teeth are saved every year. Pain that once lasted a lifetime can disappear in an afternoon. Infections that once killed can now be treated. By almost every measure, modern dentistry is one of medicine's greatest success stories. And yet, dentists are never busier. How can both be true? Maybe because dentistry isn't fighting nature, it's fighting our lifestyle. The average modern diet contains far more refined sugar than anything our ancestors could have imagined. We're constantly repairing damage that earlier humans rarely created, which leads to a strange conclusion. Perhaps ancient humans didn't have healthier teeth because they brushed better. Perhaps they had healthier teeth because they lived in a world that asked less of them. The story of human teeth isn't really about toothbrushes. It's the story of civilization. The moment we settled down, the moment we farmed, the food became softer, sweeter, more convenient. Every step made life easier, but every step quietly changed the human body: our mouths, our jaws, even the bacteria living inside us. Perhaps the greatest lesson hidden inside an ancient skull isn't that our ancestors had perfect teeth. They didn't. It's that every civilization leaves its mark not just on the world around us, but on the people living inside it. And maybe the next time you brush your teeth, you'll remember that the story didn't begin with a toothbrush. It began thousands of years before anyone ever invented one.